Judge, this is a case of Cassidy's.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Miss Cassidy, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
We were married for several years, and he adopted my son from my first marriage, which meant my first husband relinquished all rights, and he doesn't want to take care of the child anymore now that we're divorced.
Okay, sir, is there a reason you don't want to take care of your son?
Well, he's not my son.
Well, yes, he is. You adopted him.
I thought I was in love with her. I just wanted to please her.
So you didn't really love the child at all, your son? Because he is your son, just so we're clear. You're not going to be able to say things like, it's not my child. You adopted this child legally. This is your child.
Well, he's not blood. He's her son. He's not my blood son. He's a redhead.
What does that have to do with anything, the color of his hair?
Kids.
What does the color of his hair have to do with anything?
I just always hated redheaded kids.
Okay. How did the two of you meet?
Well, I had been divorced several years.
The scene opens with dramatic music as Judge Vonda Bailey takes the bench, ready to oversee a case that's already crackling with tension. The energy in the room? Absolutely electric. Enter Miss Cassidy, poised but determined. She lays out her case with a steady voice. Years ago, her ex-husband made a choice. He legally adopted her son, vowing to step up as a father. But now that their marriage is over, he's turning his back on the very child he promised to support. Then, the ex-husband takes his turn to speak, and that's when things escalate. With a cold, dismissive tone, he tries to wash his hands of responsibility. He's not my biological son. A wave of shock ripples through the courtroom. But Judge Vonda Bailey, she doesn't even blink. Without hesitation, she shuts down his excuse, making one thing crystal clear. Adoption isn't a temporary arrangement. It's a lifelong legal bond, just as real as biology. No exceptions, no backing out.
I will give you your opportunity to speak in just a moment, okay? Go ahead, sir.
So my friends took me out to a club. I call them mammary clinics. Took me out to a mammary clinic for my birthday. And that's where I met her. And she strapped it to me. And I fell in love with her that night. And
You fell in love enough to adopt her son?
to marry her, because I thought I was in love with her.
Okay.
And so we got married, and she coaxed me into adopting her kid.
Okay, you
The
adopted
redheaded
your
one.
child.
Yeah.
And you're here today because she wants you to
Pay child support.
pay
for
child
that
support
kid.
and take care of your child.
He's more of a ballerina than he is a boy.
What do you mean by a ballerina?
I don't want that kid. He's.
Sir, you adopted this child.
Well, let his own father adopt him back.
Wait a minute. His father terminated his rights and you adopted this child.
Well, she can talk.
I'm not about to play this game with you, sir. Mr. Cassidy, we're not doing that today, okay? This is your child. You legally adopted the child. And you can be legally responsible for paying child support as well.
Well, his first dad gave up his rights. How come I can't give up my rights?
Well, you know what? We're not doing that today. Today, you're going to take care of this child, okay?
Okay.
Just when you think this case couldn't get any worse, the ex-husband drops a jaw-dropping revelation. He admits he only adopted the child to keep Miss Cassidy happy, not because he actually wanted to be a father. Yes, you heard that right. But hold on, it gets even more infuriating. He then starts nitpicking, complaining about the child's red hair and even calling him a ballerina. Seriously? As if hair color or hobbies have anything to do with being a parent. In a heartbreaking twist, Miss Cassidy reveals she even dyed the child's hair, desperately hoping it would make him more accepting. Let that sink in, the emotional toll, the pain, all laid bare in the courtroom. Judge Vonda Bailey's frustration is obvious, and honestly, same. This guy's excuses aren't just weak, they're downright selfish. And one thing is crystal clear. He's more focused on himself than the child he once vowed to love.
Approximately 83.
83,000. And ma'am, now I'm to you. What does this mean, farmer?
I'd rather not go into detail.
Okay. $83,000 a year. And sir, you said, how many other children do you have?
I have 2.
2, okay. So you have 3 kids
They're
total.
not redheaded either.
Sir, the color of their hair should not affect whether or not you decide to be a father to those children versus your adopted son. You understand?
I understand.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as you understand. I have your gross. Yes, ma'am.
So I've dyed the little boy's hair now, so
What color is his hair now, ma'am?
his hair is the same color of his now.
And you all are aware that the color of this child's hair doesn't matter in terms of the financial responsibility, right?
I understand that, but he doesn't, so I'm just trying to make it to where he
I don't want to
likes
buy
his son.
tutus for
You
the
know
rest
what? It
of
is
his life.
ridiculous. She even had to dye the child's hair to even make you receive any type of comfort, sir. That's ridiculous. Now, at $83,000 a year, I have your gross at $6,916.67.
Wow.
Who carries health insurance for this child?
I do.
How much is it for the child only?
$230 a month.
$230. Okay, sir, you're going to reimburse that to her monthly. Yes, you are. And your net comes out to $5,482.88.
Oh.
Yes. What do we need to call an ambulance? You okay? Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe an ambulance might help me.
Okay. Well, right now I'm getting ready to help you with these numbers, okay?
Or a
Giving you
12
credit for
gauge.
the other children that you have. Your child support obligation is $808.72 plus the health insurance reimbursement of $230 a month. That makes your monthly obligation $1,038.72.
Okay, that's gonna.
Okay, and you can afford it. It's 83. You make $83,000, sir.
Judge Vonda Bailey gets straight to the point, pulling up the ex-husband's income, $83,000 a year. She does the math and delivers the final numbers, $88.75 a month in child support, plus $230 for health insurance. Simple, straightforward, and fair. But of course, he's not having it. He immediately starts complaining about his farming expenses, as if that somehow cancels out his duty as a parent. Miss Cassidy pushes for back pay, hoping for some justice. But Judge Bailey has to turn it down, not because she disagrees, but because it wasn't officially requested in the paperwork. Legal rules are legal rules. Meanwhile, the ex-husband keeps running his mouth, throwing out sarcastic remarks about farming costs. But Judge Bailey isn't here for excuses. With a firm, no-nonsense tone, she shuts it down fast. This isn't about his financial struggles. It's about his responsibility to the child he promised to support.
Well, that's not going to help me pay my bills. That's
It
not going to help me
might.
feed my cattle.
Well, you know what? You might want to choose some different alternatives.
Well, you got to eat. That's what. Where do you think your food comes from?
You grow my food?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I pay for it from you, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? You're going to continue to grow your food, and you're going to take care of this child, who's now the hair is dyed because you had a problem with the color of the child's hair. Ridiculous. Is there anything further here?
Yes, the last year that he hasn't paid, can he pay the back pay as well?
You know what? That is a great question. Are you asking for back pay today, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, unfortunately, you did not put that in your paperwork that you filed with the...
With a completely straight face, but just a hint of mischief, Miss Cassidy throws out a shocking suggestion. If her ex-husband wants to dodge child support, he could always remarry her. Yes, really. The courtroom erupts into laughter. Even Judge Vonda Bailey can't help but crack a smile. But she quickly reels it back in with a firm reality check. This isn't a reunification court. Nice try, Miss Cassidy, with that. The case is officially closed, and the ex-husband is ordered to pay up. But despite the ruling, his smug, unapologetic attitude stays locked in place. It's painfully obvious he still doesn't get it, and let's be honest, he probably never will. This wild ride ends on a mix of humor and frustration, leaving everyone shaking their heads at the sheer audacity on display.
...and award it to you.
Okay.
So, monthly obligation... Listen.
Judge, there's another
You don't
option.
need all of that.
If he wants to come back and remarry me, we can do that. Then he won't have to worry about child support.
Well, that's an option.
I'm going back to my ex-wife.
That's an option.
I've got my other wife and kids. They're coming back. We're back
I just
together.
thought as long as he was
okay.
going back and forth, you know.
Oh, well, I'm glad to see you.
No going back.
Well, I'm glad to see that you moved on. And I'm glad to see that you're open to that possibility, but unfortunately, this is not reunification court.
Maybe she
This is
should go
child
back to
support
the memory
court.
clinic and go to
So,
work.
well, guess what? If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Want to give that to your wife? Maybe she'll have you comb your hair.
Judge Vonda Bailey cuts through the drama and spells it out plain and simple. In Texas, step-parent adoption isn't just a label, it's a lifelong legal commitment. Divorce doesn't erase that responsibility, and the law holds adoptive parents just as accountable as biological ones. No loopholes, no takebacks. Before wrapping up, Bailey takes a moment to connect with viewers, encouraging them to subscribe and share their own experiences. Because at the end of the day, cases like this aren't just about courtroom battles. They're about the well-being of real children. The segment closes on a powerful, eye-opening note, seamlessly blending legal insight with real-world stakes. And honestly, after this, you'll never see child support cases the same way again.